Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Valpo Football Weekly. Brandon Vickery with you. Glad to be joined by the head coach of the Valpo football program, Andy Waddle. We are presented, as always, by our friends at Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. As we look back at last week, we'll look ahead to homecoming in just a few minutes. But let's start with Saturday's game at St. Thomas. And your first drive of the game was certainly promising. Maybe one of your best drives all season, I thought, in terms of the balance of the run and the pass and a long touchdown drive. What did you see maybe from the offense on that drive, and what do you have to do that more consistently?
Yeah, I think our guys went out and executed at a high level. I mean, obviously it was great to get, Mike Mansory back and relatively healthy. I mean, you go back um and he obviously, he did some really good things against Virginia Lynchburg, against Western Illinois. I thought he had a couple nice runs that got called back. He had a couple nice runs that didn't, but was certainly, I think a good player then. And then North Dakota, we struggled as an offense to really get much going on the ground, and then we didn't see him, very long at Drake. Didn't see him at all at Dayton, and you're at midpoint in the season, and I don't think that we've got a full picture of what Mike Mansory is able to do. Certainly on Saturday, I think he started to get a little bit of a feel for what a difference maker he can be. So he got the run game going, and I think we had some easy completions that we were able to go out and get with Karan and move the ball right down the field, and get to the one big play on the third down where he gets over top of the defense and a nice catch is made. And yeah, we moved the ball with some efficiency, and I agree. I think it was, a balanced attack. It wasn't just one big play, and it probably one of our better drives of the season.
Only one team in the country, FBS or FCS, with two different players with kickoff returns of 90 yards or more this season. What'd you see from Chris Gundy's big return on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've done some good things on the kick return unit this season. Obviously, the two big plays, but there's been a couple other, decent returns. The kick return team, I think, mimics a little bit of like our whole season, right? Where we have potential to do some awesome things, um, but oftentimes like we just don't have everybody doing doing a perfect job. And early in the game, they pinned us inside the 15 once. I think we had another couple where we were fair caught, and another one or so that we returned out a little bit, um but on that particular play, right, we got everybody doing their job, and then wasn't anything crazy, right? Chris, makes a nice cut back to the field, which we had some blocks set up for that, and then he outruns their their kickoff team, and Chris certainly has the ability to outrun their kickoff team. He's a very fast and athletic player once he gets into that open space, and we just got the right crease and enough of the blocks that we made it happen. But we had 11 guys doing a great job on that play, and when that happens, good things happen.
Let's talk about the defense from Saturday. What did you see when you looked back at the film? Maybe what can you improve on defensively from Saturday going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I, I think the defense continues to you know be put in some tough situations because of this past week, because of turnovers. But at the same point in time, I think that we can be better. I mean, I'm just, as we go through the film, there are certainly areas that we see, and that it's an alignment error, or it's a keys error, or an assignment error, and sometimes those are happening because um, it's a new defense. Even though we're 7 weeks into it, we've had to adjust our lineup quite a bit because of injuries, or guys not being available. And so you have some guys that are in there for the first time, and you have some guys that have been in there all season that are making some mistakes. So we got to get those corrected. But we gave up too many big plays. Um, I think that we were able to get some stops. I think we were very good on third down again. We a couple times had the guys in the hole and didn't make the play. But uh, I think that there are some mistakes that are correctable, and so we're going to work on getting those things corrected, and hopefully we continue to be, or hopefully we can be better.
As we start to look ahead, homecoming is always a special weekend and a special game. How nice will be to have some alumni and families on campus, and how much extra juice does a homecoming type atmosphere provide?
So I love homecomings. All right. I mean, I think that small college football, and it doesn't matter if you're talking about, the group of five, or, all the way down to NAI Division III, whatever, right? Um, you don't always have the alumni coming back, right, for every game. The way that you do it, maybe, your Notre Dames or Michigans or Indiana's now, right? But maybe not Indiana every year up until now, right? But it's always great to get those people back on campus and get a chance to, connect them to the university and connect them to our current players and our current team. And hopefully they'll see, the promise of what we're trying to build, and realize that, like, they can play a big part in this, and just by coming out and supporting, um and giving back to the university in any way they can, right? And um so we're excited to get a chance to perform in front of them and have that added energy and added juice.
Let's talk about that matchup. Morehead State played a thrilling game against Marist. They won on a last second field goal this past week. What can you tell us about the Eagles going into Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, like, um, I think that they have some really good athletes, on both sides of the ball. I think, their one wide receiver continues to really make plays. Their quarterback's pushing the ball down the field a little bit. Defensively, they're very athletic, and can present some problems. So we're looking forward to the challenge, right? I think that, it's good to get back home. Last time we were home, we were on fall break, so hopefully we'll have a little bit more energy with the students, with the alumni, um, and be able to play against a good Moorhead team, and come away with a win.
There he is, the head coach of the Valpo football program, Andy Waddle. Valpo Football Weekly, always presented by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. Once again, the homecoming football game this Saturday. For ticket information, tickets.valpoathletics.com. Remember, it's a noon kickoff this Saturday against Morehead State. We'll talk to you again next week on Valpo Football Weekly.